Hi, this is Edujo and welcome to another video in my series on Excel tips and tricks. In today's video I'm going to show you how to password protect your worksheet. As you can see at the top of my screen, I've got a security warning that says macros have been disabled. If you did the previous video, you will realize that when you saved your file, because you were using macros with the buttons, you have to save it as a macro enabled worksheet. So I'm just going to enable the content over there. So in order for us to password protect our worksheet, there are three options that you can follow. You can either protect your workbook from there, and that will keep people from making changes to your workbook, such as moving or deleting or creating new tabs at the bottom. That's like a structural change. Or if you look at protecting the sheet, there you can prevent people from editing locked cells or changing some of the data that is on your sheet already. So that's two of the options that you will find inside a worksheet. There is also another option where you can protect the whole file basically. So let me first show you the first one. I'm going to protect this workbook, so I'll click on it, and then you can say protect the workbook for the structure, and it needs a password as optional, so I'm going to use a password. I type it in, now it's going to ask me to re-enter it, so I re-enter my password. It is extremely important that you know what you're doing in terms of the password. So at the moment I can't move any of this. If I click on lookup or main or menu or any of these tabs, I can click but I can't drag it. It's been protected. I cannot add new ones either. I'm clicking on that little plus sign. That has been protected by the password I just entered, and the only way for me to then get this to be able to change it is to unprotect it again. The same with the protect sheet. Actually, let me unprotect that so you can see that. So I'm going to type in my password like that, and I enter it, and now it's been enabled again. Now I can add, or if I click I can sort of move that, as you can see over there. Now the next option is to protect the sheet. That's from protecting people from changing or editing locked cells, etc. So I click on it. You then have options what they can do or what they can't do. So I'm just going to leave it like that and just enter a password again. Again, it's going to ask me to re-enter a password, so I just enter that. It's okay. Now, for example, if I go there and I press delete, I get an error message. It says the cell or chart you're trying to change is on a protected sheet. To make the changes, click Unprotect Sheet in the Review tab, and you might need a password. So I can't make any changes to this worksheet unless I unprotect the sheet. So I'm just going to unprotect that for a second. I'm going to put in my password, and then I'm going to say OK. So that is two of the ways that you can protect. You can protect your data inside there, or you can protect any structural changes by that one. But the preferred option for me anyway is to go and actually password protect the whole file. So I go to File. On Info you can see the very first option is to protect the workbook. So if I click on that one, I can then encrypt this with a password. So I click on that option, and then it's going to give me another window that asks me for a password. So I enter my password and then I say OK. It should then ask me to re-enter the password, which it does. So I re-enter my password and then I say OK. I save my file over there. Then I'm going to close the file down so you can see how this works. I'm just waiting for it to load. There's some things happening or running in the background. There we go. So I click on that. Now I've closed it. Again, you can see because I did the buttons, it's asking me for, or it's telling me there that it's a macro enabled worksheet, and on the previous one it was just a normal one. As soon as I added macros, I had to save it as a macro enabled worksheet. Now I'm going to double click on that file. I'll double click it. It's going to open very shortly, and hopefully it's going to ask me for a password before I can get into the document. There we go. So it says movie booking is protected and it needs a password. So I cannot enter if I do not have a password. And again, I can't stress it enough that do not use a password that you're going to forget, or make sure that you know what password you're going to use, because many years ago I actually password protected one of the Excel documents that I was doing for some of my other students, and I actually forgot all my combinations of all my passwords, and I actually couldn't get in, and you lose it. If you can't get into it, if you do not have that password, you will lose all your work. And to unprotect that, obviously once you've protected it, you will want to keep that, but let's just say, because this was an exercise, to unprotect it, I will just go through the same procedure, encrypt with a password. Now that's my password. I take it away, delete it. Now there's no password. I say OK. I go back. I save it. I'm going to close the document down again, and I'm going to double click, and this time, because I deleted that password, it should just go in. There we go. So I'm in without a password. So that is how you can password protect three different, either your whole file, or you can password protect the sheet in terms of the data, or you can password protect the workbook in terms of the structure. I hope this helped you, and that you will start to apply this in your own documents. Thank you for watching.